Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Business First Creatives podcast. This is yet another interview with someone fabulous from the Creative Educator Conference. We are going to be chatting with my good friend Erin because I have literally met Erin at so many different events. We are going to be talking about accessibility in your client experience. And because I know most of you have not given this some serious thought, I want you to pause. I want you to go get a piece of paper and a pen and then come back because you are going to have action items for your business when we are done with this conversation. Erin,
Yeah.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Coley, for having me. It's so exciting to finally be on your podcast.
Guys, she's saying finally excited because this is reschedule number 3. This is going to air way after we record it, but I was very sick at the end of May. Couldn't sleep through the night without hacking up my lungs. And so for 2 weeks straight, I had to reschedule everybody that I was scheduled to interview because I literally could not say 3 sentences in a row without coughing like
Hmm.
a maniac, mostly like a pack-a-day smoker, which newsflash, I was a pack a day smoker in college, but I have not smoked cigarettes in decades. And so it's really weird when you wake up and you can't breathe and you feel like you've been smoking when you actually haven't been smoking.
Oh, that had to be a trippy experience, but I'm
Yes.
glad you don't smoke anymore.
Yeah. I like my lungs. I like to breathe. I would like to live a very long life. So I am
Yeah,
also very glad that I don't smoke anymore.
yeah, for sure.
So let's get into the conversation because I know that you help entrepreneurs make their businesses more accessible to not only their clients, but like their larger audience in general. And so when you first encounter a business and they are coming to you for advice on accessibility, where do you start?
One of the things that I always say when we talk about accessibility is like people have this mindset of like, oh my God, I'm going to have to redo everything. And first thing I tell them is like, I just want you to start from where you're at now. Now you're aware of it. Okay, what are some of the things you can do? It focuses on my success framework, which means I can teach you in any part of your business where to integrate accessibility. So I'm not going to tell you you have to start here. I'm going to tell you pick one area that you want to focus on and do well. And that could be like your business like foundation. That could be your event. That could be your podcast, social media, email, brand, or your website. Pick one of those things, and then when you pick one, you pick a thing within that thing
Mhm.
and go from there.
You create a to do task list. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, I think it's ironic that you and I are finally talking today because there have been several segments on our local news because
Mhm.
something's happening in Colorado where all of the local governments are required to
Yeah.
have their websites redone for accessibility. And so, literally, every single morning that I've turned on the news, there have been at least one segment where they are like literally showing what they are doing to local government websites in order to make them more accessible. And so, why don't we start with tools? Because you said that you can start anywhere in your business. And so, let's just start with a website because almost everybody that we know that owns a business has a
Hmm.
website. And for your client experience, that's usually where someone is coming into your business as a first step. They go to your website, they learn about you, they learn about your offers, they're interested in hearing more, and so they fill out a contact page. But what is a really good first step to make sure that our website is accessible for all?
I like to tell them two things, and it's funny because I am working with a client that's in the government in Colorado, and it's a very intense.
Yes.
Like, so I get a Colorado prop for like really like they're like, if you work for the government, you're in Colorado, you better be accessible. Like, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming to me with your website, now I don't primarily focus on website
Yep.
or audit websites because I have a lot of other friends that specialize in it. It can be a beast. But I do teach simple things that actually really easy and it doesn't require any coding One tool I love is Heading Map.
Hmm.
And Heading Map is a little Chrome extension. Heading Map, that's literally what it's called. And what that does is it shuts all your headings on that website to make sure, and it shows you how it would be read out loud if a screen reader user were to use it. And if you have more than one heading one, you have a problem because you only need one heading one. So think about heading one as the book title. It's your book title. It's the title of that whole page. And then you can go from heading two, heading three, but it all needs to be in order. So the heading map is one of my favorite tools to use. It's so simple. It just like tells you. You can check out any website with that tool. The other thing I love to use is the Color Buddy Extension tool. What I've done is it allows me to have quick access to my brand colors. It gives me all the hex codes, but what that also does is your favorite pairing. And basically, I've set up my favorite pairing with background and for font color foreground. And those combinations are already deemed accessible
Okay.
when you use a color contrast. The quickest way to improve your website accessibility is to make sure all your colors meet the color contrast standard. And using the Color Buddy extension has been like phenomenal because I can go back and remember, oh right, I can use these two colors together. That kind of thing. Those are my two favorite tools.
Okay, so making sure that our website is easily read by screen readers, and then also making sure that our color contrast
Yeah.
standard is so that everyone is able to see and read our website based on the colors that are on there. I will admit, I do have my headings map done, but I have never checked my color contrast. In general, I tend to use colors that are easily readable because I'm old. I
Hmm.
don't necessarily think of it as like accessibility, but also I am old. And
Yeah.
so I like to make sure that my fonts are easily readable, that
Hmm.
the font size is not too small, and that the colors are clear to me as a 45-year-old who now can't read a screen without glasses.
Right.
So, I mean, I check these things naturally, but it is good to make sure that we are doing it to be accessible to all and not just because I'm old and can't see anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like we all like I always tell people everyone is gonna be disabled at one point in your life. It's just you don't know what that disability will be. Like maybe it will be that you're lucky and the only disability you have is where you broke your arm and it's temporary and that's it. Otherwise, other people will your vision gonna go, your hearing gonna go. Like my dad at the trip, he's like, yeah, I'm deaf now. I wear hearing aid, and I'm like. I look at his audiogram and I'm like, oh man, you're still hearing. Like, compared to mine, like, I am profoundly deaf. He is still hearing, and he will happily wear his hearing aids all day long. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to hear the world. You're too loud. But, like, the color contrast is, that is, like, one of the easiest thing to do because it doesn't cost you money. But I know what freaks people out is this gonna mean that I need to rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want people to feel like, oh my god, because one of the things I know is like I have a background in graphic design. That's what I've done my entire college career all the way through corporate and I still do it now. Is that they don't really teach about accessibility in terms of design. And people sometimes think, oh, if I have to be accessible, that means ugly design. I'm like, no, it's actually better design because it forces you to think more about the colors that you're using. And that's why, like, I love the Color Buddy because that links to the person who founded it, which is Color Palette Studio. And she's phenomenal. Her goal is to help you create a brand that is accessible from the start. And I love that because like you if you spend so much money on having someone design your brand, you want to make sure that whatever color combination you use is accessible to begin
Mm-hmm.
with. But now your logo does not have to be color contrast accessible.
Okay.
because it's an image. You can just apply alt text to it, but we won't get into that.
Oh, I mean, you said alt text. The funny thing that I'm thinking about, Erin, is that you are talking about very serious things that we can do to make our website more accessible to
Mm-hmm.
others. But some of the things that you're mentioning are actually related to SEO. I know that alt text is for screen readers and people who have visually impaired, but there are other reasons that our audience might be familiar with alt text and they'll be like, hey, isn't that an SEO thing? And no, guys, it is about accessibility, but sometimes it's getting used now for SEO because your text to describe the photos is what the screen reader is reading.
Right.
I know for lots of photographers, when we're making our website, there's always this should I keyword stuff my alt
Oh
text
God,
for my
no!
images?
Please don't.
And as you said, oh God, no, please don't. You always want to make sure that you are using words that describe what's in the picture because no one wants their screen reader to say, Coley James, newborn photographer, '01, Coley James,
Mm-hmm.
photographer, '02. Like that is not the purpose of the alt text.
Right.
And it has been shifted kind of to, hey, you do this for your SEO. But no, if I've taken a photo of a client in a house and they're making pancakes in their kitchen, that is what my alt text needs to be. Mother and daughter standing at counter in kitchen mixing pancakes. Now, can I put documentary family session? Yes.
Yeah.
But you want the description to be your purpose. I mean,
Right.
whatever you're putting after that is just, for you. Maybe it is for your SEO, but bare minimum, you should be putting something for all of your images so that when people are on your website and they are visually impaired, they know what they are looking at, even if they can't see it.
Yeah. I actually have a great tool for that that will automate it, and photographers are gonna love me and you. There is AI called She Knows Alt Text, and literally you can upload as many images as you want, and it will feed out the alt text for you. Now,
Oh,
it does need some editing, and there's actually two ways to go about this. You can feed it in and it'll spit out the alt text, which is amazing. Like I've used it for my social media and I'm like, oh, this has saved me so much time. It's wonderful and it doesn't it very little time in that. But you do need to like actually go through it and make sure you edit it so that it's that and you also want to like clear out some of the fluff words. Like sometimes people like to add in AI. Sometimes we'll add in a lot of fluffy words, and I'm like, oh
mm-hmm.
please, take it out. So you do have to kind of train it a little bit, but I find it to be a great tool, and it's going to be a lifesaver to people for photographers because in the past I've said if you're a wedding photographer or any kind of photographer the alt text thing feels daunting. But now it might actually not feel daunting because now you can actually do it and it's going to bring up your SEO because you're going to be adding alt text to every single one of them. The other thing is, I do want to explain that when we think about blind people, we have to think about blind people as blindness is a spectrum
Mm-hmm.
because I identify I'm deafblind myself, and that has taken me quite some time to identify because I still have central vision, but I only have 40 to 50 degrees of it. The normal human being, usually the average human being, had 180. You have 180 degrees. You
Yep.
can see the person sitting next to you. I cannot. I cannot see the person sitting next to me. I can't see below me. Like my poor dog, she gets stepped on me all the time, which is why she like freaks out. So it's like little things. I want people to understand that blindness is a spectrum. When somebody identifies as blind, respect that. It is their thing. I have one of my closest friends. He is a photographer, and he does not want to share that he is blind because he's afraid that it's going to cause him to lose his job, which is scary because photography is his entire life. But people still have their vision. It's just how much usable vision they have. Some people have pinholes. Some people have those black spots in the middle. Like blindness is such a spectrum that I want people to understand that it doesn't mean we can't see things on the computer or on the phone. Some people will use screen readers, some people won't. Some people will just use a enlarger to make the text easy. That's my love soapbox speech.
Oh, I totally understand more than you know. I don't know that you and I have had this conversation. I've said it on my podcast before, but in 2016, I was legally blind for 6 weeks. And when I say legally blind, I could only see 3 inches in front of my face. Everything
Yeah,
else was double and dark. And I was actually reminded at a podcast retreat that I was at this weekend. One of the participants was doing an exercise with us where we were supposed to look up at 45 degrees, and then we were supposed to think about the things in our peripheral vision. And it just really reminded me that I don't have peripheral vision anymore. I mean, I can see,
right.
like you said, you can't see people next to you. I
Yeah,
can kind of, but like where my vision was before 2016 and where it is now, I have way less vision on my sides and in my peripheral than I ever did. And I mean,
yeah.
I have the, I have the medical science to back it up. I can, when you go to the eye doctor and they have you do the little
But
trigger
your
test
brain
where
can
you
also
see.
like fill it in too.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, like when you have lack of vision, like say someone has the middle. Like I know I have a blind spot like right up here,
Mm-hmm.
but my brain is smart enough to fill that in that. So it can be like interesting to how your brain actually works. But like scanning, I can see things, but if I like focus literally every what I just don't see things
Mm-hmm.
because my brain's not processing. So yeah, I think it's also scary to tell people I am legally blind because it's like, are they going to think less to me? But it also allows me to see the world a whole lot differently.
Very differently. Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. And I feel like some of the things that we've just talked about with your website also translate into your email marketing, because there
Mm-hmm.
are some of us that love an email marketing host, which happens to take a lot of the things that you put in and turns it into graphics. But that can be problematic if the graphics don't have the alt text to tell you what's in the graphics, because then when someone's reading the email,
Yeah,
if it isn't filling in the blanks for them because their brain is unable to do it, there are perhaps entire pieces of your email that are missing to them because you have not properly put in alt text and other things that would help them digest your
yeah.
entire email.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing. Like I'm a huge fan of Flowdesk. I use it, and almost all email service providers also have this problem. And if you're using layout block, that is not actually readable by screen readers.
Mm-hmm.
So you do need to fill in the alt text, but how many people think about adding the alt text in? So I know that Flowdesk is working on having the AI to do that, which is going
Ooh.
to be like really cool because so it's already doing that. But I also want people to be more aware and be more conscientious of how they're designing. But there was somebody that used to design the email in all layout text, and
Mm-hmm.
it would like make me insane because I was just like,
I can't read it.
yeah, it's just like you. The other alternative is to me. This is what I've suggested to people. If you want to keep your email in layout block because you've designed it that way, that's totally fine. But also give the alternative for people to read a text only email. So that, and those are easy because you just copy and paste and drop it in, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And you can just leave a link at the bottom saying, at the top saying, if you prefer to read text only, go to this, and I'll take you there. And it's like literally just like that one extra step. So
Oh.
that's like another thought where people can be like mindful of little things like that.
So how would someone create a text only email? Like, would it live in like a Google Doc? Like, where would the actual text live?
No, I actually would create another email
Okay.
in like Flowdesk, but I wouldn't like necessarily publish. Like I think I like publish it,
But not
but
send it. I get you now.
I don't send it. I just take the
Link.
link
Mm-hmm.
and drop it in. It's so easy.
Erin, that is brilliant. I think I'm going to start doing that. Although I don't use a lot of layout blocks in my
Mm-hmm.
emails. Again, I prefer it to be text. I prefer it to be at least
Right.
16 font. Like I have things that I really pay attention to now that I never did before. But that is a brilliant idea.
And the other thing is, when you're in your email service provider, check and see what it would look like on your phone. How many
Mm-hmm.
people actually check email on their phone? Yeah, me. Although I feel like my people are all check on the desktop, and I'm like, really? No, that can't be. But check on your phone because the biggest pet peeve I have two of them actually. I have a lot of pet peeves. But number one is there's not a lot of white space on the edge. So I feel like people don't check the version that is on mobile. Check that. Make sure there's enough breathing room for that. So that it's easy to read. Because it drives me nuts when the text goes all the way to the edge of your phone and I'm just like, you can't read that. And, well, please don't center your text. That's terrible. Left the
Really?
line. You will be surprised how many people center all of their body text.
Oh, no, I don't do
Like,
that. Every
don't do
once in
that.
a while, I center like a quote, but on email, no, my emails are not centered.
No, just don't. All body text should be left aligned. Don't
Well,
justify it either.
and also, I think that one of the reasons that people should look at their phone is to make sure that you don't have more than a certain number of lines of text without a
Mm-hmm.
space. So we're talking about white space on the sides, but we're
Yeah,
also talking about white space between paragraphs so
yeah,
that it's not an entire like paragraph where someone loses track of where they're reading. And I will also say, again, font size. There are a few people's emails that I read that I know I can't read them on a phone. I have to
yeah.
go to a desktop in order to read them because I think they're using like font 12 and it is not
I
resizing
know.
on my phone. And
Minimum 14.
oh,
14 point,
no,
but
I do
I prefer
16.
15. I prefer 15, but a lot of people, they'll feel like it's too big. But, like, the reality is our computers are bigger. Our, like, screens are bigger. So 15 point, I feel like, is actually a much better size,
It is.
for sure.
It is. After I got my vision back, I had my phone. Like, I think a lot of people don't know about the accessibility features on your iPhone. And sometimes I forget that I have them turned on still, even though, I've gained my vision back. But I have it set higher than like the middle standard default that it
Yeah,
is. And so sometimes someone will look at my phone and they'll be like, wow, like, why is your text so big? And I'm like, to make sure that I am able to read it. And so, sometimes my emails that I send look very different on my phone because I
hmm,
do have quite a few of the accessibility in terms of the size of font and the way that it lays it out. I have that activated on my phone to make it easier for me to consume now. And I never did that before. But again, we should all be checking desktop and mobile when it comes
yeah.
to your website and when it comes to your emails.
For sure. I mean, like, my sister has done the enlarging of email of her font, and I'm like, whoa, that's really big. But I'm not using that phone, so it's cool
Mm-hmm.
for her. But I also don't want to be zooming in to be able to read your email text. So, like 16 point is simple. Do not apply overlays to your website. There are so many companies out there that will sell you on overlays for your website to allow for that customization of the website by the person with the disability. No, don't fall for it. Don't spend the money on it. Don't do it. Please.
You're
If you
like,
have
just don't.
questions about it, ask me.
Excellent. And all of Erin's contact information is, of course, going to be in the show notes as well as her
Yeah.
business information. Let's slightly pivot to talk about accessibility when it comes to videos,
Hmm.
transcripts, and podcasts, because so many of us business owners now have podcasts. And there are several AI tools. I feel like we've just been talking about AI a lot, but there are several AI tools that help us make the content more accessible, but the AI transcription is not always the best, Erin. So here's my question to you. How much time should we be taking to clean up AI transcripts, or is it really that necessary?
Oh, 100% is necessary for you to go through. Like, several years ago, if we had to edit transcript, they were not great. They were decent. You had to spend a lot more time. Now, me, when I have to edit my own transcript, they are not fun. Because one, I question what the hell I was saying. Because me, as a deaf person, I can't necessarily hear the sound that I'm making, so the words don't translate properly. Even though you, are, as a human being, you're like, oh, I understand Erin clearly. But when a transcript tried to transcribe me, it is terrible. It's a lot better now, but it also depends on whether I'm having a good speaking day or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. For me to edit my own transcript, it takes a lot more time, like maybe average 30 minutes. But I have gone through one of my client transcripts. I don't do it anymore, and hers are like near perfect. But what I do is I look for name spelling
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that the punctuation are in the right place. But sometimes it will break things up in a weird place. And making sure the speakers are labeled.
Okay.
So those are the three things that you check in. Speakers need to be labeled. Check people's name. If you talk about any name, any company name, any book, make sure those are spelled right. Because we all know spelling is necessary, and then make sure the punctuation is there. Because we don't want things to be misread. Because I will always read a transcript over listening or watching a podcast because I can read a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Because my time is invaluable. Other people are lucky you can go and walk around and listen to a podcast. So, those are the three things I recommend doing that. But for all podcasters out there, please, for the love of God, make it easy for me to find your transcript.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have been shared several podcast episodes. I have no idea where the transcript is. Literally, I have no idea. Like, if anything, and everything you should share with your guest, where to find the podcast. Like, I know you'll share Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Those are the three main things. Add that link to the transcript. And then everybody can share that. So whenever you share your email, your episode, share that with your entire audience. Give them that choice.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding because I am very good about transcripts. I make sure that I do all the things that you said and sometimes a little bit more. So it makes me happy that I'm getting
Nice.
a gold star. On my blog, we used to have the entire transcript like inside of the blog post, but recently we've discovered this new toggle tool and it will still be able to be read by Google, the entire transcript, but now it can like toggle on and off.
Right.
But I
And
make
that's
sure that
totally
the
fine.
speakers' names are each labeled. I like them to be bold so that you can see the
Yes.
name
Love
separate
that.
from what they're saying. I also love to put in time codes so that if you see something on the transcript that you want to listen to, you can go to just that
Right.
section and
Yeah.
be able to identify it quickly. But the last thing that I do that I will say for those of us that have, let's say we use names either of ourselves or products that are constantly messed up by AI transcription. Hello, Coley. It never says my name right. Okay, that's number one.
Mine will always spell Erin and the male version. I'm like,
Hmm,
come on, man.
I don't think it's ever done that to me, but I will check
You'll
when it
find
does your
out.
transcription. There you go. The other thing that I do is after I have cleaned up the transcription for like misspelled names and hello, I talk about Dubsado a lot. Dubsado is never right. It doesn't matter what I have to clean it
Oh,
up in the
never
entire
mind.
transcript.
Yeah.
But once you take the time to clean it up inside of your transcription tool, like Descript or wherever you're doing, take that and put it in YouTube so that if
Yeah.
someone is going to watch it on YouTube, they are getting the benefit of the cleaned up subtitles because
Yeah.
in Descript, you can clean the transcript and then export a subtitle file that
Yeah.
you can put on YouTube. And so I make sure that I do that for every one of my episodes, again, so that the people's names are spelled correctly. You see every single speaker, and the punctuation is better, because I'm with you. Sometimes it has like run on sentences, or again, it will be like 11 lines of text. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not easy to scan.
Yeah,
That's not
no, it's
easy to
not. I
read.
hate that. Like a lot of people were like, "Ooh, Apple doing the auto transcript," and I'm like, how many of you actually have read those Apple transcript without any sound?
Oh,
Without any sound,
no.
how readable is that? It's not. It's literally a wall of text. Like
It is.
I can't focus. I can't. My brain can't go.
Now, Erin, I've never paid attention. Is there a way for you to substitute that transcript for a cleaned up version, or
I've
is it
heard that you
only
can do that,
okay,
but I
I'm gonna
don't
figure
know.
out if that's possible, and if it is, I'll put it in the show notes.
But like one of the things that I do teach, I have a workshop that is strictly on podcast, and people have loved it because what I did with the workshop was I literally showed people how to go through your entire process of your podcast. So I go pre-production,
Hmm.
during the show, and post-production, and show you how to integrate accessibility into that, right? A to D. Like you can just watch that workshop or read the transcript, and you've integrated it into your process. And the thing is, I know a lot of people feel like, oh, I need to do this. I have to burn everything that I've done down. And that's like the biggest thing I want people to understand. You don't have to burn it all down. Like, I don't want you to do that. I know you've worked hard to refine your process. You're a system person. You love system. You really probably built like a kick ass system. And people are probably going to be like, but I don't want Erin to mess it up. Like, I'm not going to. I'm actually going to teach you specific things that you can integrate into your process that not going to cost you a lot of time or money. You're already doing it. You're already cleaning up the transcript. So I'm just going to give you a few extra things to look out for so that you're more aware of it. So, and essentially, it like my goal is to actually make things better for your business in a way, more accessible.
It's funny. I don't think I've had one of these moments in quite some time, but sometimes when I'm talking to the guest and they say something, I'm like, bam, that's the name of this episode. We are going to name this accessibility awareness, because I feel
Nice.
like that is the purpose of this. And that is also what you do. Like, you're not saying, in the same way that I say, you don't have to attack your entire client experience at one time in order to get better automations and systems in your business. I just need you to write a to do task list and
Yeah.
figure out what to do first, because every
Yeah.
step that you take is going to benefit you and your clients. And I feel
Right.
like that is where this conversation has gone. Like, I just want you to be aware of some of the things that you can do to make your business more accessible to
Yeah.
everyone. And once you are aware of these things, you can prioritize them and
Right.
tackle them one at a time without feeling like, oh my gosh, I just completely got a new website, or I just wrote all these emails, or I just put up this blog post that has 100 pictures, which why would you do that? But also, that AI tool that Erin talked about, y'all need to go to the show notes and get the link, because
Yeah.
writing your, alt text is something that all photographers struggle with. And so that is probably one of the most useful things that you have said, or at least for my specific audience today.
And I really believe that you can also I believe that too you can make sure that you can kind of like customize it to how you write. You can probably feed it your own knowledge file and be like,
Mm-hmm.
this is how I my website is written. Can you make sure the alt text complements that? With it's like brilliant because you're not wasting time with trying to think of alt text for five of similar images. But I also think it will make you like call down your images a little bit more.
I mean, won't it? Because they probably all need to do that anyways.
Yeah. Like how many of those five images do you really need? Or even though you might be like, oh, that one's so good, but that one's so good. Like, pick one. Just pick one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Erin is going to give me the link for that podcasting workshop so that we can make sure that it is in the
Yeah.
show notes. Erin, I feel like this was a really good start for people to start putting a little bit more accessibility awareness. See, I'm going to say that over and over again into their business going forward. Is there any other like last minute tip that you want to make sure of that everybody is aware of besides you don't have to burn it all down? Please take it one step at a time.
I would say the biggest thing is like I get accessibility is not sexy. It's not alluring. It's not like AI or anything, but it is really a must have because when you start making six figure, and I hope every single one of you all start making six, seven figures, you you I don't want you to be hit with a lawsuit. Like and it can happen. Like I don't want people to think it's probably not gonna happen to me, but it could happen, and that's why we all have insurance, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why we all have this because you're protecting yourself. And accessibility is one of those things that you really do need to have as part of your business foundation. It is a business foundation.
Agreed. Agreed. Erin, I am so happy that you and I finally had to have a conversation on
Yeah,
a podcast. I mean, we've seen each other in person so many
yeah,
times, and now we have actually seen each other on a screen and had a good conversation. And I feel like this was just like part one. I feel like we're going to figure out like a new set of topics to have you back maybe later this year or early next year so that we can
awesome.
give people like an accessibility update and really, be like, what did you do after the last episode? And this is what I want you to do now. Like, guys, I'm
Yeah,
giving you homework. She's giving you homework. Again, not everything has to be done at once, but honestly, after you listen to this episode, because I told y'all all to get a piece of paper and a pen, I need you guys to do something to make your business a little bit more accessible now.
yeah.
All right. Erin, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, that's it for this episode. See you next time.